Welcome back to another edition of the Here We Go podcast. And I am going with round two of controversial takes going into our rivalry playoff game against the Baltimore Ravens. So yesterday I talked about why I feel like Justin Fields should start over Russell Wilson. Today I plan to talk about why I feel Corey Trice should be starting opposite of Joey Porter, not Donte Jackson. And let me start this off by saying that I am not even remotely taking injury into account on this. It has nothing to do with the back injury. I think Corey Trice is better suited to play against the Ravens than Donte Jackson. Jackson is a much more zone-heavy coverage guy. That's where he's found his success. I believe that's where all 5 of his interceptions have come from. Corey Trice is more of a press man covered corner. Now, the Ravens are typically a team that teams do not want to run man coverage against because of Lamar Jackson's rushing ability. But what we've done well in both games this season and pretty much historically against Lamar Jackson is we do a pretty good job of containing him, limiting his rushing ability, limiting his scrambling ability, and trying to make him work within the pocket. It takes away some of his zone read stuff because we have edge rushers like TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith that play the run from their positions so well. So Pittsburgh actually has gone against the grain a lot against the Baltimore Ravens, and they run a lot more man coverage. So speaking specifically against this one game, Corey Trice is the obvious choice. If you want man coverage, Donte Jackson got absolutely smoked by a tight end. I mean, it wasn't even like there was a huge double move or like an out and up. Like he didn't switch coverage on a guy. Like he just got beat. And if you go back to videos I'd done in the beginning of the season, before the season even started, I talked a lot about that was one of the deficiencies of his game is he gets beat deep. So what do we do to compensate for some of these things is we play these soft zones where we have the corners off the line of scrimmage. In Baltimore, you want to throw off the timing and give the pass rush time to get there. The teams that continue to beat us right now are getting the ball out of their hands very quickly. And Lamar Jackson was one of them in the last game we played. It neutralizes the pass rush. You can't get much from guys like TJ, Alex, Cam Hayward when the ball's coming out of the quarterback's hands so fast. You just can't get there. And so I feel like the game plan of playing more man-to-man coverage against Baltimore needs to be implemented in this game. Again, Corey Trice gives you the best option at that. He can be physical with any of these receivers in Baltimore. Zay Flowers is small. He does a great job of getting off the line, but he's a smaller receiver. You could throw off his timing pretty easily. Rashad Bateman's got some size, but I think both Joey Porter Jr. and Corey Trice could match up with Bateman pretty easily to throw off his timing. And if both outside guys can lock down, then you can help on the 2 tight ends, which really are the guys that are the biggest weapons in Baltimore's offense. The other piece of this puzzle is I've been talking a lot about how much man coverage we run this year versus zone, and we ran a ton of zone this year. And I know people are going to say, well, we've ran some of the most man, by percentage in the NFL, but it's still like 29 or 30%. It's not like we're running it 50% of the time. We drafted Joey Porter Jr. to be a lockdown corner, but he cannot do that when you're in zone 70% of the time. I think this is an opportunity to get Corey Trice on the field to be another man corner so that you can run more man coverage with Joey Porter Jr. and let him lock down whoever they want him on. Say Flowers or Bateman, doesn't matter. Corey Trice will take away more of the quick game than what Donte Jackson will. And to be perfectly honest with you, if you're going to grade his performance against Cincinnati when he was, a lot of one-on-one with Jamar Chase, to be honest, yeah, he had some help over top, but it wasn't like it was every play. Again, I'm going to go back to that. He was on an island quite a bit against Jamar Chase. And I would give him a C grade for his performance. Yeah, Jamar Chase had 90-something yards. He had the touchdown and like 9 receptions. But a guy making his first career start with very, very limited reps in his NFL career, you've got to think the needle's pointing way up on a guy like that. If you have that kind of confidence in him, first of all, to leave him out there and let him battle and let him continue to work on Jamar Chase, I thought he played a great game. I'll be honest with you. I thought he played a fantastic game. I don't know that you were going to ask anybody, regardless of where they were drafted, regardless of their history, to go one-on-one with a guy like Jamar Chase that often in a game and have a better performance. I mean, Patrick Surtain, you could throw him in the mix. I don't think he plays much better than what Corey Trice did in that game. I would absolutely start Corey Trice, not Donte Jackson in this game, because number one, I also don't think that we're going to bring Donte Jackson back at this point. I mean, he started the year off well. He was in the right positions to make some interceptions. Actually, I thought he covered pretty well in the beginning of the season too. Had some lapses here and there, but thought he made up for a lot of it with the turnovers. But now he's back to the guy who can't stay healthy. He's been banged up. It feels like every game this season. He's missed games now. I just don't see, he's on the wrong side of 30. I just don't see how you bring this guy back and give him another contract, to be perfectly honest with you. So then why not see what you have in Corey Trice? Because I can't be the only person that thinks this guy looks better than Donte Jackson right now. I cannot be the only person. And Corey himself said that, he needs to work on some technique stuff, but he thought he did pretty good. And I honestly, I don't know what else you could have asked for a kid in that position. But I think it unlocks more with your defense. I get the inexperience. But the other flip side of this is I've made the argument now for quite a while to get Beanie Bishop back on the field and not Cam Sutton. Tomlin loves veterans. I know he likes veterans. He's going to probably stick with a guy like Donte Jackson. I just don't think he should. The young guys are making plays. I mean, Beanie Bishop, he's another one you could argue. I don't think this one's controversial, but I think Beanie Bishop should be starting. He plays 6 plays and he gets an interception because he's in the right place at the right time. Cam Sutton's not doing these things. We continue to blitz him. God only knows why. The dude's not only is he not getting there, he's not even getting pressure. He's not even getting close. I'm not even sure he's made it past the running back at this point. I think it's time to get some of these younger guys in the game that are putting in more effort, in Beanie Bishop's case, who seemingly is in the right places at the right time when he's in the games. And it's been a very sure tackler for a small guy. But Corey Trice, I could argue the same thing. He's been a more sure tackler when he's on the field than Donte Jackson. So that's the other side of this thing. If you want to talk about guys making tackles from the cornerback spot, Corey Trice has been a pretty damn sure tackler in the limited time that we've seen him. He's a guy who looks like he could be your future at corner. I still would draft somebody because his injury history is concerning. He absolutely looks like he has the makings of a starting cornerback too in this league. And my fear is, if he's not the starter, he may not even get a helmet. Because the biggest deficiency right now in Corey Trice's game is he's not very good on special teams. And if you're not a starter, you need to play special teams. Not only do you need to play special teams, you need to be pretty good at special teams. And that's just going to be an issue with him. Because that means we see James Pierre backing up Donte Jackson. And if Donte Jackson goes down, my biggest fear is watching Lamar Jackson run around and just look for anybody James Pierre is guarding. Because Pierre he's terrible in coverage. He's absolutely terrible in coverage. So while I think it seems like Donte Jackson's been a full participant all week in practice, you cannot rely on the guy to make it through an entire game. He's missed at least a couple of plays, I think, every single game this season that he's been active for. So I just don't know that you could even trust Jackson to be healthy for an entire game. And that absolutely means James Pierre would be the backup, I think. If you look at the helmet math, it's probably Pierre, not Corey Trice. And that would be an absolute travesty, in my opinion. So I'm going to cut this video a little shorter today. I didn't have as much time as normal. I got to begin on a conference call here soon. But I really want people to really think about the performance that you saw last week out of Corey Trice. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you not agree with what I'm saying here? Because I honestly, from my perspective, I think he played better than Donte Jackson has been playing for weeks. So let me know in the comments. As always, like, share, and subscribe. Hope you all have a great day as we edge a little bit closer to rivalry playoffs.